Hello everyone and welcome back to a best-of-5 series of top-level StarCraft 2. It's time for a Zerg versus Protoss, which just so happens to be the grand finals of the ESL Open Cup number 76 Korea. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been casting a ton of games from the TSL 7 as well as DreamHack Summer. I haven't really been paying attention at all to the ESL Open Cups, so I figured today, let's jump back into it with a grand finals. Now, both of these guys are ridiculously good. They also actually happen to be teammates. So spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres, that's map number 1 in this series. Playing with the red Protoss probes, we have Zest. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Protoss pieces, he goes by the name of Dark. Right from the get-go, Probe went across the map just to block that conventional expansion from coming up. This is one of those little moves that Protoss players like to incorporate in their games, just to throw the Zerg opponent off ever so slightly. It really doesn't matter too much at this level. I mean, at some point, right, we'll likely see indeed a gas geyser and then a spawning pool. And then usually what Zerg does at 100 gas is they pull the drones off of gas. And usually those drones that get pulled off, rather than mining the main base and oversaturating it, they would be sent on over all the way to the third. So there's like a little bit of travel time, and that's technically a little bit of lost mining time. But obviously, you know, this probe had to be sent out early as well. And even though I think it is a net mineral advantage for Protoss, obviously, since Protoss, I mean, we're going deep right from the get-go, apparently, in this game. But obviously, the Protoss had to send this probe really, really early at the very beginning of the game. So, percentually speaking, this probe is more important than the drones that are going to have... You get what I'm trying to get at, right? Usually, at this level, it doesn't really matter too much. But if you are a ladder hero, if you are a Protoss player on the ladder, I highly recommend being an absolute jerk with your very first worker. Blocking the opponent's expansion, trying to force them to mine different mineral patches, screwing up a little bit of their macro. It's annoying, and most of the top-level Zerg players are going to be able to deal with it just fine, but people on the ladder probably won't enjoy it so much. Alright, so Zest is already following this up with what seems to be a standard start. Nexus on the low ground. We see a Cybercore finishing right now. He does have 150 gas. Probe is heading on over to this pylon. Should be a Stargate. Considering he didn't start up the warp gate upgrade. There we go. Stargate is indeed going to be planted down. Very conventional start so far. And honestly, I'm not really expecting fireworks between these two as far as like strategies and build orders go. I casted that absolute banger of a game between these two not that long ago on Beckett Industries. That was a really good one. I'll go ahead and post a link to it down below in the description of this video. Highly recommend you go ahead and check it out after watching this series. Just to show you what's possible in Zerg versus Protoss. I do hope, though. I have no idea, right? Like, nobody recommended this series to me or anything along those lines. I do hope we're not just going to see, like, Stargate opener after Stargate opener after Stargate opener, but... Then again, I tend to cast, you know, the absolute bangers of StarCraft all of the time on the channel, and obviously I have the luxury of picking and choosing what I want to be covering on YouTube. But I do think sometimes that some people... It's almost like I get, you know, it's almost like I spoil some of you guys that are commenting in the comment section below the video where you're expecting banger after banger. And the truth is that, you know, if 1,000 games get played in a tournament of StarCraft, only like 2 games are going to be really, really good. And the vast majority of them are going to be a little bit more conventional. Either way, I enjoy watching the conventional games. And I'll try and explain to you why I enjoy them. So far, very standard start right here from Zest. He's going to be leveraging this one Stargate unit to try and grab a third Nexus really, really early on. So, a couple of years ago, 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the Nexus was unheard of. Zerg players would look for a third Nexus around the 5-minute mark. Now, obviously, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of time difference, but it's very significant. So, a couple of things that really have helped out with that is that Void Rays are now actually usable units. To the point where maybe they're actually a little bit too usable, right? But that'll be a debate for another time. But Void Rays are very helpful at defending. They're a little bit cheaper. They come out a little bit faster. Oracle Harassment is also not as popular anymore. Main reason for that is that, well, Zerg players have gotten too good at defending against this kind of stuff, right? So, I mean, we see 2 worker kills, but already this Oracle did take a whole lot of base damage. So I don't really expect this one to get too much done here going forward. And Zest is actually... gonna be transitioning away right now as well from that Skytol's army into what seems to be a ground force. So he's got a Twilight Council, a Forge, as well as a Robo facility. All of this indicates ground units. And this is actually kind of interesting. I feel like this is Mostly the Korean Protosses seem to do this. Okay, so take a step back, right? Just to take a step back. I would say the best Protoss player in the world right now, without a shadow of a doubt, is Trap. Trap is one of those players I want to cast a lot more often on the YouTube channel, but sadly, he doesn't participate in a whole lot of events. However, the events that he does participate in, he tends to win them. So, Trap has won, I believe, 7 Premier tournaments in the last, like, 7 or 8 months. It's either 6. Like 6 or 7 Premier events. Either way, what I'm trying to get at is that Trap has become way more successful than anyone else over the last, half year or so. The thing is, in this matchup, Trap tends to play exactly what Zest is doing over here as well. He opens up with Skytle's units, but then focuses heavily on a ground-based army. Now, obviously, Zest plays a little bit more spicy than Trap. Trap usually, a little bit less exciting to watch. He doesn't have a very memorable playstyle, like, for example, a Max Pax or a Parting, or, like, there's a whole bunch of players out there that play very cheeky games. But Trap, I mean, it's interesting because he's definitely the best Protoss versus Zerg player in the world. He plays ground-based mid to late games. And yet nobody else seems to really do it other than Zest. Like, every single Protoss player out there seems to transition towards Skytles eventually, right? And most of the time, at least in my experience, whenever, like, one player does really well, other players usually will copy their playstyle. Anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit more, I'm sure, throughout this game, because Zest is actually going for an old-school style. Look at the amount of sentries here. This is not the amount of sentries that players normally make in 2021. This is what we used to see with 2-base all-ins, right? Remember, like, the 8-gate Immortal Sentry all-ins that people used to do off of 2 expansions? This is gonna hit like a truck. It's not that the strategy got nerfed, it's just that opponents got better at it, and obviously Ravagers are now also a unit. Pretty sure with the Immortal Sentry armies that wasn't very popular. Now, he does have a Blink upgrade done as well, and he does have a ton of gateways. I think it's about time you start warping in some reinforcements here, Zest. If you lose that Prism right now, I'm gonna cry. Bro, no, no, no! Dude, don't make... Okay, at least he didn't make me cry, but, like, he still doesn't have that much army. I mean, he's making the best of the situation, I suppose, juggling the units. Force fielding, but the problem is, yeah, now all that energy was wasted. Okay. Well, that was a little bit anticlimactic. Here I am, hyping up the ground army. Trap was super late on that additional warp in there. I think he did it at home. But now, obviously, Dark is going to be in a pretty good spot. I mean, props to Dark right there to jump on that right away. I mean, at this level of play, the margin for error is tiny, right? And Dark saw an opportunity. He's like, wait a second, you haven't warped in reinforcements yet? Normally, Zerg players do not fight off creep against this sort of thing. But Dark saw the army, he looked at it once, and he's like, well, I think I can just push that. And, well, sniping the Prism would have been the end of that fight. Luckily there for Zest, he did keep that one alive, which is barely. But now all of a sudden, he's dealing with, well, I guess soon to be 5-base Zerg that's going up towards a hive. Anyways, my theory is that ground-based mid to late game is way harder to play than the maxed out Skytles forces that we see a lot more over in Europe, right? I'm not exactly sure what is better. I mean, it's not, by the way, that Trap and Zest don't play Skytles. They definitely do. It's just that they do favor this type of army a lot as well. So that's 12 additional Zealots warped in. Ooh, okay, Prism eventually does fall, but the warp-in finished. Couple of Zealots actually coming in from the flank as well. They end up surrounding a ton of those Ravagers. There's no Banelings in his army just yet. Couple are morphing in right now, but these Zealots are ready to charge once again, and they're gonna continue hunting down the Queens. Ton of Banelings right there in the back. A couple good Corrosive Balls do come down, but actually Zest blinks out of it at the last possible moment. Obviously, at this point, the reinforcements are not gonna be very close. Banelings roll into the Zealots. Okay. Mostly just Stalkers left over at this point. 4th base goes down, 5th base already was picked off. Banelings will not be able to connect for now. That one Oracle from earlier actually getting a little bit of additional work done. And also planted down a Stasis Ward. Bit of an overextension right here from Zest. If that Prism did not go down, these units would have all been in the middle of the battle, right? They would have been right there. Alright, so 4th Nexus comes up at this point for Zest. He's going for a new Prism. He's once again adding on a bunch of new units. Very sentry-heavy armies, which is kind of curious. Huh. Alright, so what do we have on the other side? Well, Dark right now is going +3 melee, as well as adrenal glands. So this is going to make those Zerglings incredibly powerful. Banelings obviously also do benefit from the +3 melee. I wouldn't mind at all if Zest decided to go for a more Archon-heavy army. So Archons take like 20-something Banelings before they die. And obviously they deal splash damage and stuff, right? And they're kind of thick. They tend to, they tend to do really well against Baneling-based armies. ULTRAS Cavern is coming up as well. Okay. Killing the spawning pool would actually be extremely good. Couple roaches are sent over here because Protoss is also poking at the front. There's no anti-air. Oh my god, if he actually snipes the adrenal glands upgrade, that would be a disaster. I mean, this Void Ray, it served its purpose, man. It served its purpose, yeah. Do the thing. Oh, adrenal glands gets the knight. At the same time, ooh, Zealot apparently sleeping on the job. This one was meant to hold those Zerglings at bay. Forces the warp in instead of the main base, but look at this, man. With adrenal glands, these Zerglings would have 40% more attack speed. Just, like, to put it in perspective. This is not actually enough Zealots, and all of a sudden, 19 probes end up going down because one Zealot was not on hold position. A little bit of a mistake. At the same time, a couple of Zealots over here are trying to get some work done. Archons are soaking up some of those Baneling hits. That's really, really nice. Stalkers on the left get surrounded by Lings once again. There's no Immortals in his army, and Ultras are just about to spawn. That being said, Stalkers are still pretty good. Zerglings, though, have bitten their way through most of the structures in the natural expansion, except for the Nexus. How is he even microing this battle, Zest, that is? Zerg is mostly just attack moving at this stage in the game, but he's blinking and trying his best to just get work done. Prism will once again just barely move out of that liberation zone, I guess. I mean, it's the Zerg version of a liberation zone. Juggles a couple of the Immortals. Or Archons, rather. They may as well have been Immortals, though, because those Ultras do absolutely nothing. 41 drones end up going down, and we have a banger of a first game. Nicely done right there by Zest. Now, call me crazy, but I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy watching those ground-based Protoss armies a lot. Wouldn't mind seeing actually some more of those going forward. I mean, not that I don't like the Stargate stuff. It's just, you know, variety, right? Anyways, we find ourselves on Beckett Industries. Beckett Industries is definitely the fastest map as far as natural to natural goes in the current map pool. And Dark going for a 12 pool does not surprise me at all. Zest is already gone for the pylon right here on the low ground. So the problem is, right, if you go for a gateway over here and you chrono boost out a Zealot, it won't be done in time for the Zerglings. So weaker Protoss players on the ladder will sometimes face off against this build and they will go for their default response. Ooh, Dark. Yeah, is he gonna... He's gonna do the thing. I've seen him do this before. Okay, Probe does go into the main base right now to scout what's going on. He's sending the drone across the map to build a hatchery right over here. Or over here. It doesn't really matter all too much. Oh, he's trying to place down a second gateway just barely in the nick of time. Important one. Can he block the natural? He's faking it. Okay. Well, Dark is faking it, but it still worked out just fine. Either that or Zest doesn't care. Actually, this is almost like a deja vu, right? So there's a forge coming up right now as well for Zest. Dude, this is so similar to that game that I casted. Hold up. This was between them two, right? Yeah, I called it Incredible StarCraft, Zest versus Dark, Beckett Industries. Dark opened up with a 12 pool similar to this situation. That game as well. Like, this is... Creativity no longer exists. It's dead. So what we found out that day is that Dark likes to go for a queen. Zest, though, goes for a bit of a different wall-off. Very safe right now on the Cyber Core, which I really like. So if you can get a queen out over here and pop down a creep tumor, that is obviously what you're looking for, right? If you're the Zerg player. So far, though, this seems like a really good bit of defense here by Zest. Obviously, he's got the worker advantage, but most of that worker advantage right now is trying to hold on against the Lings at the front. Adept will be popping out very soon. I'm just a little bit concerned for the queen situation. I mean, that gateway is also running dangerously low. Okay, he starts up a shield battery. He's still making Lings, by the way. Okay, no, actually, those are just the Zerglings over here. So, no queen this time around. I mean, there is a queen, but it's at home. He's gone for another hatchery on the low ground here instead. Two cheeky Zerglings. Try their very best. Can he get a kill right here on the Zealot? No control there by Zest at all for some reason. I guess he's been busy microing the other units, but sleeping on the job there for a little bit. Definitely could have kept that one alive. Either way, the end result of this situation right now is 20 workers for Protoss, 17 for Zerg. Adepts going across the map. Zerg has a second hatch, but he needs to remake a bunch of those Zerglings to try and hold on. It's a dangerous game, actually, man. Like, these Adepts can do a lot of damage. Yeah, this is going to be huge for Zest. Yep, just kill whatever you can. Kill whatever you can. There you go. 4 workers is huge at this stage in the game. I mean, if you lose both Adepts, that's kind of rough. Yeah, I don't think you want to lose both of them for free there. Well, I mean, they killed 4 workers and then they both died, right? I would have maybe liked seeing like 1 or 2 more drones there. But anyways. Okay, so now big picture, right? Nexus is coming up. In the end, I think this is a slight advantage for Protoss. The only downside right now for Protoss is that the Stargate is not done yet, right? So the Stargate is kind of late. To put it in contrast, most of the time, I mean, we saw it in the previous game. Most of the time, the first Void Ray is out by like 340, right? Obviously, in this case, that's, you know, not something you can do because you have to make all of this. But it's definitely going to be late. And with that, any kind of counter pressure here from the Protoss player is going to be delayed as well. So Zerg, while this is going on, is happily making use of that larva mechanic, popping out tons of those little workers. Just trying to make as many drones as possible. Once again, so every single time I've seen other Zerg players going for the 12 pool opener, they kind of get a gas geyser out pretty quickly as well. So Dark is still gasless. I mean, he's still got 0 gas mined in this game. Only just now is when he takes 2 gases at once. This is very reminiscent of that game that I casted between these two not that long ago. That turned out to be a phenomenal game, so... Look at that guy walking up here with his thick beam out. You see that? Incredible. Anyways. It's gonna be difficult. Like, I like what Zest is doing here. These slow Zerglings are going to have a pretty tough time playing it. Nah, he's not going to commit. No way. No, he's going Glaives right now. He's going Glaives right now. So he's got a Stargate unit, but he's transitioning straight in towards Glaives. Usually that means you want to really try and maintain these Adepts. So, yep. Just shading around, forcing out some more units there for the Zerg is neat. Link speed is super late. I mean, Glaives is going to start... Or, sorry, it's going to finish here before Link Speed is done, right? I mean, Link Speed is a surprisingly long upgrade. It's one of those things that you kind of take for granted, but... Huh. So, there's no Prism, though. Yeah, actually, I thought that maybe Zest wanted to go for some dedicated pressure, as in, like, a 2-base push. Maybe, like, 6 gateways or 4 gateways and a Prism. But in this case, he's only got 3 gates. No, only 2 gates. And he's just going straight towards a third Nexus. So even though he's got the Glaives upgrade, I guess it's mostly defensive. I mean, you can still send the Adepts in. He's actually got quite a few. He's just been using the 2 gateways on cooldown, I guess. Get back on the job. No, Zachary! Zach, go! Zach! Get in the wall! This is very dangerous, dude. Anyways. Yeah, no. I actually agree with this. Even though it's a strange timing. Because this is like the slowest commitment kind of push here ever. He can deal so much damage. How many workers are you going to kill? That's 8 workers in just the blink of an eye. The only thing that concerns me about this is the imminent counterattack from our Zerg. He needs to keep this going for as long as possible. Yeah, making another Void Ray at home makes a lot of sense. He didn't lose the first one, right? No, he didn't. So, like, these... Adepts are gonna get out. Okay. You know what? That is, I guess, perfect scenario. So normally what happens is Zerg will eventually kill those Adepts because they get a little bit too ambitious. And then they counterattack with whatever they have, right? Now in this case, that would be Roaches, Ravagers, and Zerglings, and none of those units have proper anti-air, other than Corrosive Bowels, I guess. How many Queens are there? There's only 4, so you can't really send them out. Nah. He's going double Void Ray into +1 flyer attacks. I've been focusing a lot of my attention today on Zest, I feel like. I don't know. Like, sometimes I watch back my own casts, and as cringe as it is, I used to cringe so bad of my old videos. These days, I don't cringe as hard, but anyways. I sometimes notice I, like, really focus on one player only. That's just how I feel in the moment, I guess. Apparently, I'm casting this series from the perspective of Zest. It's one of the downsides of solo casting. I sometimes catch myself doing it, and I don't even know if it's a bad thing, to be honest. Most of the time, I seem to focus on Zerg players because I play mostly Zerg myself on the ladder, so, like, I'm curious to see their response. But, yeah. I don't mind it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. So we see Zest going into the fleet beacon right now as well. He's going to +1 flyer, like I mentioned. And then he's going into a heavy Void Ray army. So, as much as we enjoyed that ground-based army in game number 1, Zest is showing that he's capable of doing multiple things, right? He's not a one-trick pony. He's more like a unicorn. I don't know what the opposite of a one-trick pony is. He's a man of many talents, is what I'm trying to get at. Either way, this is now going to be a bit more of a turtly army, right? So when you have the Adepts constantly threatening the shade in, this is some high-level moves, though, by Zest. Also, once again, props to Dark for picking up on this. If this would have been me, right, I would have had all of my, like, Zerg units over here to defend against a potential Adept shade buy. Because I have, like, I don't know, man. I've got, like, Adept PTSD at this point, where I have lost so many workers to, like, 3 Adepts that I really am kind of scared, right? So I would, if I were Dark here, put all of my units over here. If that would have been the case, these 5 Void Rays would have killed a lair. That little move over here for Dark, you know, not just having the queens here, because 3 queens would not have been enough, but also a group of Hydras was really nice. That's where that constant scouting, like you see those little Zerglings going around the map all of the time. This looks easy, but it takes another like 300 APM. Okay, not 300, but like you need to have, you know, an average of like 400, 500, 600 to pull that sort of thing off in the mid game at the very least. And it's you know, it's one of those things that's easily overlooked, but yeah, nice work there, right there by Dark. Anyways, Zest right now leverages the situation into a Nexus. He's also going for the Disruptor transition, which is a newer thing, since most Zerg players right now don't really go for a Corruptor approach after seeing this many Void Rays. I mean, Corruptors aren't very good against Void Rays. A lot of Protoss players have not been going Storm anymore, but instead Disruptors. And Disruptors have a lot of potential. The Shooty Boys. This is a scary Zerg army, though. Yeah, no static defense here just yet. He needs to get out of those corrosive biles. Void Rays will have to retarget. That one shield battery is, well, overcharged, or was overcharged. 2 of those Disruptors available at this point. I don't think this is going to be enough, Zest. Or Dark, rather. Dark's actually taken this as the 4th. The balls on this guy. So normally we see this base, right? Normally, actually, in a broader sense, Zerg expends away from the opponent. Dark's like, nah, we're next door neighbors now. I'll file a complaint if you play music too loudly. Maybe in real life, actually, they're actual next door neighbors. I wouldn't be surprised since they're on the same team and stuff. Nah, not likely, but seems like a lot of the StarCraft pros in Korea do live relatively close to each other. So what's going to be the name of the game right now for our Zerg? It's going to be Banelings and Pathogen Glands. Okay. So he's going to go Infestors and Banes? Those Disruptors scare me, man. Very nice control here so far by Dark, though. That one Immortal there is still quite helpful. Roaches are actually split off the rest of the army to try and... Oh my god, he split that beautifully. To try and pick off the Disruptors. Zest, I don't think you can push here, really, dude. I would love to see an Observer. Yeah, that Observer is super late. Don't know why there's no Observer here. That creep needs to be pushed back. Dark is such a scary late game player. I just want to emphasize again that like one Disruptor could have ended that entire Zerg army, and it hasn't happened. It would have happened though if it was me. Now this is the problem. Turns out this new apartment of his has got a back door. Like there's a second entrance to like the balcony or something. It's a bit awkward, but I guess this is a balcony, huh? Anyways, his new place has a balcony entrance. He forgot to lock the door for a little bit. I'm interested in the Baneling situation. So he's going +1 melee and +1 carapace while having an all Roach Hydra army at this point. I think he just plans on rolling his army into all of these Protoss units. Well, so far, I mean, even without the roly-poly upgrade, those Banelings have got a lot of work done. Interceptor count is dangerously low right now, though, so Zest has to back off. Vipers are coming up right now as well. Okay. So I don't know why we saw the Infestor energy upgrade. I thought maybe he wanted to, like, make Spore Crawlers in this area to try and, like, Adepts right now, shading towards the right side of the map. Probably anticipating that this base is already done, but not quite. Okay, target fires the Disruptor. Disruptor this time around will get picked off. Once again, just barely backs off in the nick of time right there to not get his entire army caught in a couple of force fields, except for those 2 Ravagers. Adepts have made their way over here. A couple of Banelings available, but nice splits right there once again by Zest, who's also simultaneously pushing right here at the front. Good force fields once again. Would not have minded seeing a Guardian Shield, though. Guardian Shield is +2 armor for the entire army in the bubble. It's absolutely massive. Anyways, a whole lot of drones are falling right now. Okay. This is neat. So, despite the situation over here, I mean, assuming we don't lose carriers. Hello, don't lose carriers. Yeah, 6 Void Rays have gone down right now. That carrier was unnecessary. Anyways, it created a nice distraction here to kill a ton of Zerg workers. I feel like that 5th Nexus should be acquired pretty soon, though. Yeah, bases are becoming oversaturated. Although he hasn't even had, apparently, the time to saturate this base properly yet. Templar Archives is coming up. So is he going to go both Disruptors and High Templar? Interesting. Lurker then as well. So apparently we are going Hydra, Lurker, Viper, Ling, Bane, Infestor, Queen, Spore Crawler. Like, how many hands does Dark have? Is he a mere mortal or what? I don't know. Either way, charge is finally coming up. That charge is so late. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of Adepts. Oh, he shades only a couple of them. Yeah, 700 IQ moves right here by Zest, but there's no drones there, really. Yeah, depths between these mineral patches can definitely kill a lot of stuff, though. 5th Nexus indeed will be acquired, but it's off-center. A little bit of a mistake here. Zest forced to make some moves, and honestly, like the last 2 minutes or so, I quite like here for Dark. I mean, ever since the worker loss, I suppose. Okay, already Zest is cycling his army in this direction instead. Links the Stalkers forward very aggressively, but the Zerg didn't back off. I feel like this base is so vulnerable right now, yeah. Dark has seen the main force right there of the Skytul's player. He's moving on over. Well, I say Skytul's player, but it's really only a handful of carriers at this point. He's transitioning towards a full Spellcaster army almost, right? This is actually really neat. Like, I say Skytul's, most of the time when players go carriers, they don't stop making carriers. But Zest actually is transitioning, like, down, quote-unquote. So this is a very difficult Protoss army to control, because the Sentries, the High Templar, the Disruptors all need to be controlled separately. At the same time, though, while Zerg is losing the base over here on the left side of the map, we also see the Protoss player losing another expansion over here. Probes desperately running for their lives. A couple of Hydras are trying to get some work done over here, but reinforcing Stalkers will probably take care of that. Viper ends up going down. The natural expansion in a lot of trouble right now as well. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves in a base race. The entire minimap is blinking. Zerg is breaking through the natural expansion as well. Lurkers available in the base at the 12 o'clock. So those Protoss ground units are going to have to run. Still a lot of Spellcasters available right now. Keep in mind, the Protoss player can always recall if he wants to. But I mean, at this pacing, he's not going to have a Nexus left to actually recall too. Interesting choice. The probes are already running. Hi-yi-yi-yi-yi. Dude, this is some good StarCraft. A maxed out base race. Okay. So, Zerg is always gonna, like, be spread more thinly around the map, right? Protoss usually is more condensed in the amount of structures that they have. Okay, here's the recall. Here's the recall. Pretty much all of the Protoss units get recalled, but it's a small radius, and a lot of, like, Stalkers and Sentries are still here. A couple of Zealots and Probes remaining, too. I don't know if I like that recall. I do not think I like that recall, because these Protoss units can now be killed for free. Look at the Zerg army. They're like, wait a second, if you're only, like... I'm just gonna go and kill it. Yeah. I mean, it's ripe for the taking. He is buying a lot of time with those force fields, though. He is buying a ton of time with those force fields. Kills a bunch of drones as well, so makes the best of it, I suppose. But there's a lot of probes over here on the high ground, too. I think what Zest is trying to do right now, he's trying to force the main fight. Spawning pool is gone, by the way, as well. So even though Zerg has a lot of money in the bank, there's not a whole lot of minerals he can spend. He's trying to target fire down whatever he can. Decides to go and target the carriers as well. Lurkers over there really need to get into the battle, and I think just barely... There's gonna be enough for the Zerg. Ay, 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 ay. Man, what a game. This match alone. This match alone right here. Dude, no! Oh, wait, he had the Stalker Immortal and Archon stuck inside of the main? They're so thick they can't move. Wow, that's rough. This game alone would have been worth the video. Once again. Zest versus Dark. Beckett Industries. What a banger. Banger is my new favorite word, by the way. Yeah, so at this point, I mean, there is an observer. Okay, I was gonna say, like, there's lurkers out, right? So, I don't know exactly what you're planning on doing. Is this the final army? This is the army. My God. It's like a lore nerd's wet dream over here. Are you guys seeing this? There's no way he's gonna hold this, by the way. No way. Even with, like, the best storms. Feedbacks. Alright, gets rid of the queens. Huge storm over there, too. Oh, you know what? Oh my God, maybe I shouldn't be a non-believer. It's just that lurkers are really good. I mean, those storms are really nice. Again, though. Did the observer die? No. Oh my God, I'm blind as a bat. It was right there. Yeah, no, there's really no way. Okay. GG is cold. And Dark does win game number 2. But that was chef's kiss. Hey, so real quick, after that game 2, right? I just want to take this moment to trash talk all other esports out there, because they all suck compared to StarCraft. There, I said it. I mean, you already knew it. I already knew it. Nobody wanted to, like, address the elephant in the room. So beautiful. Such a good game. I actually saw Lyric address it in a highlight clip from his live stream. He's a really big streamer, in case you're unfamiliar. But I thought he put it very well. So Twitch was quite literally built with, like, StarCraft 2 in mind, right? Like a decade or so ago. It was one of the main reasons why Twitch was built in the first place. And Lyric said something along the lines of, StarCraft 2 is the foundation or the bedrock of the hot tub streams of 2021. I'm like, yeah, that's that's well put. Well said, Lyric. StarCraft indeed is the foundation of the hot tub stream meta. And I think that's beautiful. Alright, so once again, Probe blocked the natural expansion right there from the Zerg. Zerg is moving on over towards the third base. Look at him being a dick right here inside. I mean, I'm being a jerk. Sorry, what did I say? Being a jerk right here inside of the main base with this one cheeky little probe. Forcing the drones to go around. Fun fact, the way that Zerg players are countering it these days. You know how, like, you have rapid fire, right? In case you don't know what rapid fire is, basically it allows you to spam one key. So you can spam, in my case, like, my resource gather hotkey is A. So you can basically create a rapid fire hotkey for the hotkey A. And then you select the drone. And then when the probe is being a jerk, you basically select the drone and then, you know, rapid fire. You hear the sound? That's my A hotkey going absolutely nuts. Anyways, so you can rapid fire right there on one of the mineral patches so you don't have to wear out your right mouse button. There you go. There you go. I think Protoss players actually do the same thing, where they have the gather hotkey on rapid fire. Just a little bit of StarCraft trivia. Very quick third hatchery this time around, isn't it? Yeah, that's very quick. It's gonna slow down the queens. Interesting. Stargate opener once again by Zest, unsurprisingly. So in theory, right, you can go Twilight Council. You can go Robo Facility. Both Twilight Council and Robo Facilities are good. They haven't gotten nerfed. There's timing attacks that you can go for. Like, for example, Adepts, but you can also go for, like, Dark Templar into Archons. I think both of those builds are pretty good. The problem is that, like, Skytles or, like, a Stargate opener in general is just head and shoulders above those other variants. So, since Zerg doesn't really have good early game anti-air off creep, right? Obviously, the Queens are pretty good. Spore Crawlers are pretty good as well. But since Zerg doesn't really have a whole lot that shoots up in the earlier stages of the game, going for a Stargate unit just makes the most sense. Like, you can take a third base so damn early, going for a Void Ray first. So, even though, like, I know some of you may be getting tired of seeing this, like, Stargate opener every single time, I'm just explaining this is why Protoss players do it, right? It just makes so much sense. So once again, it's going to be Void Ray into Oracle. Void Ray is going to kill the Overlord, which is also, like, not to underestimate. This is also pretty good. Like, you could alternatively go for a Stalker, but I think Stalker is kind of eh. One other advantage of opening up with a Stargate like this is that back in the day, Zerg players used to send 2 Overlords across the map. One would scout the main base from, like, you know, this location over here, and then one usually would scout the natural, mostly aiming for, like, the gases and structures around the first pylon. This Void Ray opener has also kind of shut that down, right? And then lastly, another reason why people open up Stargate, and this is huge, Mutas are one of the absolute worst units to have to deal with as a Protoss player, right? So if you're a Protoss player and you've ever played against Mutas before, you know how incredibly annoying those two things, or sorry, those 2 drones, I guess I was going to say. No. Mutas can be incredibly annoying to Protoss players when they are in your mineral line, right? Zerg only needs to make like 8 or so, and then they can kill like 20 drones or 20 probes in a heartbeat. Going for the Stargate opener, or even a double Stargate opener, kinda shuts all of that down because Phoenixes are so good at dealing with Mutalisks. So at least as like a Zerg player... Wait, what? Is he assuming... He's assuming the third base is over here! Dark? This is gotta be real awkward, my man. He's going for a Queen March in the direction of this base, but there is no such thing. It's a little strange. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at, Stargate opener good. Other openers also pretty good, but not as good as Stargate opener. There you go. So there's 6 shield batteries coming up. There's a bunch of Void Rays, but it's only 2. This is a very low eco Queen March right here by the Zerg player. I don't know if there's going to be enough for Zest, to be honest. Hello. What was that? That Void Ray was just derping out. Okay, now shield batteries are done over here. Oh my god, he just almost lost one of the Void Rays to a freaking corrosive bile. That's not what you want. One hero adept over here at the front. Once again, corrosive bile's trying to get rid of the shield battery that's overcharged. At this point, a lot of the Zerg's anti-air though has already gone. Void Rays are trying their very best to nuke down the Queens. Is he gonna be able to kill the Queens here in time? Right, so the Void Rays can kill everything here eventually. But I'm a little bit concerned for, like, the reinforcing Zerglings at this point. Because the Zerglings are going to be able to now bypass the natural and go straight into the main base or focus on the mineral lines. Alright, so what seemed to be kind of an awkward start here for Dark initially when he sent the Queens in the wrong direction is now working out. Now, this is a really good move, though, by Dark. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the next game. So against the double Stargate opener, like the one that Zest was playing, the Queen push with like 40-something workers is really, really, really good. Because you can hit them right as they've invested a ton of resources into a bunch of structures, and they haven't really gotten the advantage of the third Nexus just yet. Now, it's a bit of a gamble in a way, because Dark doesn't really know exactly what the follow-up is going to be. I mean, he didn't see the second Stargate. So he kind of rolled the dice, and it worked out for him. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it seems to be a good opener against Stargate openers from Protoss. Anyways, it could have been, like, what I'm trying to get at, right? It could have been, like, a single Stargate unit. I mean, he saw the Oracle, so he kind of knew that that wasn't the case, I suppose. But it could have been, like, a single Stargate opener into a Disruptor right? And disruptor openers and follow-ups were quite common a few months ago when Zerg players were doing a lot more Queen Marches. So you can actually get yourself a disruptor out while opening up Stargate and a third Nexus by the time that the Queen March arrives. And you can imagine Queens splitting off creep against disruptor purification novas is, yeah, it's not going to work out very well. Anyhow, similar openers once again, it seems. Wouldn't be surprised if Protoss is going to go for a Stargate. I know. This is nuts. It's a crazy idea. Nexus gets planted down. 20 supply. Cuts a probe right here. Goes for the 20 Cybercore. Yeah, this is curious if you compare it to like the Goblin build, right? That I was talking about a few days ago. This is the standard. All right, good to see that the standard didn't change. Well, I wasn't paying attention. So 21 gas, 22 pylon. And then you pile on the pressure. Haha, Lowko, you're so funny. Thanks, guys. Yeah, there's the pylon. There you go. Okay, so once again, actually, Zerg has decided to go for a very quick third hatch. To put it in perspective, normally the third hatchery for Zerg comes up at about 30 supply, 32 or so. So Dark has gone for a very quick one. Meaning that this first adept could technically get some work done, but so far that doesn't really seem to be an issue for him. The problem is that there's not going to be any queens out, right? I mean, there's going to be one queen out, but not in both bases. I guess he's not too concerned about it. Starts up one set of Zerglings right now. Such greed. So this Overlord right here is paying very close attention. Yep. It sees that once again the little wings right there on the gateway are up. And this indicates to the Zerg player that something is being built inside of the gateway. And at this point, it's only ever going to be an Adept, a Sentry, or a Stalker. But I would say 8 times out of 10 or so, it should be a second Adept. Would you look at that, by the way? Void Ray Opener. Crazy, I know. What's he doing? He was manually patrolling there with the Overlord. Interesting. So he knows the timing of the Void Ray and when it should be here. And that's right about right now. So this Overlord will be killed. Probe is going to be sent on over to the third base. And once again, Zerg did not get punished right there for a very, very quick third hatchery. So this worked out great for our Zerg player last game. Obviously, it's a best-of-5 series. So the first player to win, 3 games is going to be the one that wins the series. Adept is going to chill right here in this little nuke that has been created for him. Hugging both the Nexus as well as this pylon. What's going to be the follow-up this time, Zest? So you've got an Oracle. It's going across the map. Second Stargate once again. Okay. So Zest is doing the exact same thing. Dark is not. Already starting up a lair. I feel like the exact same Queen March could just, work out wonderfully. Yeah, so he knows. I mean, he doesn't even really need to see the base. Just the angle at which that Void Ray came. You know that it's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be a third base. I mean, he's gonna confirm right now. Just to make sure that exactly everything is spotted. Alright. And we once again have ourselves a Skytles opener. After the Warp Gate upgrade is done, Cybernetics Core is once again spinning. This was spotted just now as well by Dark. So Dark knows at this point that it is going to be... I mean, there's 3 upgrades right in the Cyber Core. There's the Warp Gate Research, there's the +1 air weapons, and the +1 air armor, right? So whatever it is, I mean, it's always going to be air weapons because it's just better. Whatever it is, though, it's going to be something Skytles related. Unless Protosses have 700 IQ and they're trying to trick the opponent into going Hydras. But then again... it's not like Zerg players hate Hydra so much that they don't want to have them against Robo follow-up, so... yeah, I don't think it really matters, but maybe one day that'll be a thing. 2 Void Rays. Fleet Beacon will probably be coming in a little bit. Robo Facility as a follow-up, though. Okay, 4th Hatchery gets planted down in the bottom right-hand corner. About 1 million creep tumors also get rapid-fired over here. He's just trying to spread the creep as far as he can. Not actually putting the tumors on the edge. Or maybe they weren't done spreading yet, I'm not sure. Alright, so he's very late actually on the Roach Warren, interestingly enough. So it was just Queens and Zerglings up to this point. Now he's making Hydras, but... what if it would have been, right? Hear me out. What if it would have been Stargate Opener into 3rd Nexus into Glaive Adepts? You know what would have happened? Zerg would have died. I mean, not necessarily. It obviously still depends on execution, but... Adepts deal bonus damage against light. Hydras and Zerglings are light. So, you know, with Glaives, they would absolutely murder things. I guess he saw the amount of Void Rays and he recognized what was going on, but he went for the Lair at like 4 minutes and 10 seconds, which is kind of early. I guess he saw the Cybercore spinning, right? Yeah, he did see the Cybercore spinning. Maybe that's why. Yeah, so you know what? Hey, there it is. Here's the Protoss move of 2022, okay? Go for the fake upgrade, then transition towards Glaive Adepts. Cancel the upgrade after the Zergling is done scouting. Go for the Glaive Adepts. Shade him in. There's a chance Protoss is gonna catch the Zerg without... what's it called? A Roach Warren. There you go, dude. Changing the meta. It's just that the timing right now on the Lair was actually quite early, so... Alright, so 3rd Stargate, Fleet Beacon. I mean, I've been critical of this opener here because it's what I see on the ladder all day, every day. And it kind of sucks to play against. But yeah, here we go. So... Fleet Beacon. I mean, basically, I've complained about it enough. I don't really need to explain it again, I don't think. But basically, Zest is going to do as little as possible this game to try and max out. And while I think Dark is perfectly capable of dealing with that maxed out Skytools army, if you're a regular human made of flesh and blood and you only have 2 hands, unlike these pro gamers that play Zerg at the highest level and can reach 700 actions per minute, it's really hard to, you know, deal with it. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe that's what it is, dude. Dark actually seems to be very happy playing Skytools. Or against Skytools. Okay, this is a really beautiful move. Anticipating the movement path right there of this Void Race. And he grabs... oh. 3 of them. They sink into the waters of Jagannatha. So what are we gonna do? Is it just gonna be Hydraling Bane? Is that the strat? He's going +1/+1 right now as well in the evolution chambers. He's got 80-something workers. Going for a couple of spines, I guess, over here to deal with Zealot run-bys. There's no charge. So he's making a... yeah, okay. 39 Banelings? Okay, so he's making a ton of army. He's going for a, I guess, 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. Like, basically +1 on all the things. Timing attack? Is that the idea? Okay. So there are disruptors. There's 3 of them. I don't know, man. Look, I want to believe in this Zerg army. It's just that, like, I don't. Apparently Dark does, though, so we'll see. Maybe he wants to go for a hit over here and then transition away from it? Yeah, he needs to catch those disruptors, right? So the disruptors will already wisely back off. Yeah, I don't like this. Okay, good splits right there on the first disruptor hit. Banelings are now rolling into the 3rd base. Or 4th base, rather. Okay, that's a whole lot of probes. 2nd disruptor also deals a bunch of damage to friendly units. 3rd disruptor also doesn't get a whole lot of work done, but I'm pretty sure the first one is now going to have its cooldown once again, you know, available. 15 probes end up going down at the cost of a ton of Lings and Banes. So that was not an efficient fight there for our Zerg player at all. And now apparently Zest is like, wait a second. You're stuck on Hydraling Bane at this stage in the game? Let me try and see if I can go across. I don't know if he needs to be honest, but... +2/+2 is coming up. Banelings are coming up as well. Disruptor hit. Okay, not a great one. Once again, Zerg actually micros just barely out of the range right there of those Purification Novas. I mean, that was about as good a fight as Dark can take, right? Here come even more Banelings ready to blow up whatever they can, and most of that ground army of the Protoss player has now been taken care of. Stargate units still remain, though. Hydras are coming. Queens are coming. Don't say it, Lowko. Don't do it, Lowko. Okay, fine, I won't. I'll behave. But it does feel to me like Protoss has been sitting back the entire game and has been doing very little just to, like, you know, no, technically. I mean, I'm just saying, it feels that way. I didn't say it. I mean, nobody heard anything. Here come the lasers. Interceptor ships are being picked off. Carriers are quickly rebuilding them, though. Disruptors have all been killed, but I'm looking at this Zerg army, and like when Hydras come trickling in like 1 or 2 at a time, they just do not deal with like carriers and stuff. They just don't. There's another couple of carriers full of interceptors. Prism is still alive as well. Wonderful control right there by Zest, keeping that one up and running. GG is cold, and that means we're going to the final map. Alrighty, so final map is gonna be Blackburn. This map can be a little bit crazy. We'll see where this one is gonna go. Probe is going across the map. Guess what it's gonna do? I'll let you guess. You guess. What do you think it's gonna do? I think it's gonna block the Zerg's natural expansion, I know. Actually pathing it specifically right there through the slow zones. Because if it goes straight into the slow zone, it's actually too late. I do still think that a queen push would have been wonderful there for a Dark, though, right? I think it would have worked out really well. Can you go straight for the gold? That'd be fun. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. But going straight for the gold would have been quite interesting. Probe right there, double checks as well what's going on. Sees the third hatch has been taken. Or I guess the second hatch technically, but over at the third base location. And he's gonna start his shenanigans. Everybody dance now. So you don't want to let it finish. Never finish. Just keep harvesting. Try and mess up those drones. What's the actual net difference here, you might be wondering? Well, it's a little bit of travel time on a drone, right? So every time there's a drone going around, trying to like figure out a mineral patch to mine from, it loses about 0.8 minerals a second, give or take. So, yeah. Is it a huge deal? Nah. If like you do this sort of thing, because I see that all the time actually from like lower league players. They like really focus, on trying to do this exact move, and then they like forget a pylon or something at home. Sorry to feel you, or sorry if you feel called out right now, but then obviously it's not worth it, right? But since these guys are pro gamers, they know the moment at which they can commit resources and, you know, energy to it. Totally worth it. Third hatchery once again acquired very early here, and guess what? It's a Stargate opener. Don't tell me he's gonna make a Void Ray. Yeah, I do hope one day we're gonna see a little bit more variety again. But I'm pretty sure that's only gonna happen with like a balance patch or like, you know, small changes. So last time around that they buffed the Void Ray, they changed a couple things about it. Not only did they make it cheaper, they also allowed it to come out faster. So the build time of the Void Ray, I think it was reduced by like 6 seconds or something like that. I don't know. I'm putting that number out of my butt, but it's like basically it comes out of the Stargate a little bit quicker and it's cheaper to produce. I feel like reverting the build time on the Void Ray, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that alone would probably already, like it would delay the Nexus and it would, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that would be a pretty good start though. Anyhow. Oracle was a follow-up. Wait, no. Yeah, no. I was gonna say. I thought for a second he canceled the Void Ray. I'm like, no, he can't do... Why would you cancel the Void Ray? Nah. Yeah, Blizzard has always done that with StarCraft 2, and it always, like... Whenever, like, a unit is underperforming... So, right now, I don't think there's a whole lot of people working at Blizzard on StarCraft 2, sadly, but... Whenever, like, a unit is underperforming in StarCraft, what they've historically always done is, like, buff it, like, 3 times over. So, like, okay, sir, the Hydralisk is bad. What can we do? Well, we'll make the Hydra Den cheaper. We'll split up the Lurker Den as well, and then we'll give the Hydra an additional 10% attack speed. Right? That's kind of the way that it's always been done. I always thought that was a bit of a silly way of balancing the game. But, apparently it is... Ooh. Apparently it is the way, that some game designer thought was the best one. Anyways, the most recent version of that is the Void Ray. Didn't they change something else about it? What was it? Hold up. I think it was August 20th, I want to say. Yeah. Okay, so here's the updates they made to the Void Ray back in August. Cost decreased from 250 150 to 200 150. Void Ray build time decreased from 43 seconds to 37 seconds. And movement speed increased from 3.5 to 3.85. So that is what I mean. Like, it's such a classic Blizzard patch. Just 3 updates to the, you know, I think like reverting the build time from 43 seconds to 37 seconds. It's very minor. It's not going to affect a whole lot of the lower level games at all. But I think there would be a little bit more variety again. I, for example, still think the Dark Templar into Archon drops opener is really good. It's just slightly inferior to the Void Ray one, which is why we don't really see it anymore. You know, like you go like 4 Dark Templar and then you try and send them in, and usually Zerk is forced to make Spork Crawlers, which slows them down, and then you go a couple Roaches, which slows them down a little bit more, and then you come back for more with like the Archon juggling and stuff, and then usually that transitions towards a ground army, right? Which, I don't know. You think that's reasonable? Let me know down below in the comment section. I think that would be, yeah. Anyways. Robo Facility, double Stargate once again, and now a gajillion gateways. So, what Zest has done here in this game is show the same build again to his opponent that's reliant on Void Rays, and now those Void Rays are patrolling around the map, trying to make sure that no scouting units really easily get in. Oh, Oracle gets picked off, it seems. What's he doing as a follow-up? He's going charged, he's going more Void Rays, and he's going for 1,000,000 gateways. This is what I would like to call the ultimate attack move army. Where, I say this as a Zerk player, okay? Like, Zerk players pretty much attack move every army. But this is, you know, the army that you just attack with. You don't really need to control very well. It's gonna be Void Rays, Zealots, and a couple of Archons. Dark just now secured himself the golden base, which is really nice. He's going Roaches. He's got a bunch of Queens. He's going double upgrades. He's going Pathogen Glands. So he's got himself Roach Ravager Ling Bane, I guess, coming in this game. This is going to hit like a truck. Like, how many gateways are we on at this point? We're already at 10, and he's making 2 more. This is going to be 12 gateways, and this is not scouted. This Prism is absolute key. If the Prism goes down, this Protoss player goes down, I think. Okay, one of the Queens gets killed. Zest has so much money. Okay, there's the Warpit. He probably wanted to go for a couple Archons as well, but doesn't even have the gateways done for it. Zealots are the reinforced ones, that is. They're going to try and go after the gold base, and a bunch of drones end up going down already. A lot of Protoss units here at the front also get picked off, though. Dark, yeah, using the terrain right here to his advantage, trying to get the Roaches stuck in little nooks and crannies so he can easily defend those couple of Zealots that are trying to decimate his army. 11 drones. And a gold base. Well, I guess 14 in total. I guess the others were from that Oracle. Was that worth it right there for the Protoss? I'm not sure. I guess it was okay. Killing the base was quite nice, right? If you can kill it again, that would be super nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think that was necessarily the end of the world right there for Dark. Good job here. New zealots will be warped in, except for that guy. That guy apparently does not fit inside of the prism. He's too thick. Oh. The slowing zone over here. Yeah. Almost ends up losing those zealots as well as the prism. So now it's a bit awkward. He's going... he's going double Void Ray or double Stargate into 12 gateways into double or even triple Robo production with Storm? This is gonna be a complete 3-base all-in now, right? I feel like Zest does not have a way to back up. Now, I think the worst unit to make against an Immortal army is the Ultralisk. Ultras really suck against Immortals. Like, Ultras really suck in general, but like they suck especially against Immortals. Like, Immortals just murder them. Ultras are really good against very specific armies. So, for example, if it's like a Skytle's army with High Templar underneath, then Ultras are really good. I also think Ultras are good against like armies from the Terran player that are still stuck to like Marine Siege Tank. Then the Ultras can really work out well. But if your opponent is pumping out 3 Immortals at once, and you're making Ultras, I really hope for our Zerg player's sake, he's not... if he makes them, you'll see them get torn up. I do love the animation, by the way, on the Ultralisk Cavern. What it's researching? Fantastic. Alright. So he does go 4th base. Zest is playing interesting games of StarCraft. He's got like so many production structures, but there's no way he can afford building out of all of them. He's got 8 High Templar. 8 High Templar and 5 Immortals, and there's 1 Ultralisk coming up. Alright. I want you to pay attention to the Ultralisk when it comes out. I'm hoping the Immortals will show him who's the boss. Huge storm. Almost storms his own observer to death. He sees Immortals and he still adds on another Ultra. Okay, here's the Ultra. On the right. So, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna back up for just a sec, sorry. Apparently, while the Protoss player is posturing, a couple of random Banelings roll into the base and just kill a whole bunch of stuff. Huge Zealot over here as well, or Zealot army, I suppose. Oh. Well, look at this! Even the freaking Zealots do quite well against the Ultras. No, I don't think Ultras are very good in this particular situation. Okay, Ultra Boy still lives. Didn't even need the Immortals, just Zealots alone apparently did the job. Brenda, Karen, and Margaret over here, though, have transfusion energy. So we're gonna try and keep that Ultra alive for a little bit longer. Tons of Zerglings are reinforcing this. They are +3, and they do have adrenal glands. It's just that there's like as many Stalkers as Zerglings right now. No, there's, well... When I said it, I guess it was true. He's going 4 more Ultras! Guys, like, please don't feel inspired here if you are a Zerg player and you think you should be making Ultras. They're about to pop over here, at least. One of them is. He's gonna go for the counterattack. So, a couple of units will be recalled. Stalkers also, by the way, deal bonus damage against armored, don't they? So, like, Stalkers are also pretty good against... Like, basically what I'm trying to get at is that most of the Protoss units are pretty good against Ultras. There's a couple of scenarios where Ultras can be really good, but this is not the one. Okay, look. You seeing the Immortals? I mean, there were Zerglings in there too. There was just 2 Immortals against... you get what I'm trying to get at. If you value your MMR, you probably shouldn't. Anyways, do we just have another base race? Is that what we're getting at? Do we have another base race? I'm looking at this Protoss army, and it's so much more menacing. Supply-wise, it's not even that awful for our Zerg. It's just that, like... Oh, It's just that, like, even though he's trying to take another base in the top left-hand corner of the map and he's killed a lot of the Protoss eco, I don't know if he's going to be able to make an army that deals with this. High Templar right there gets killed by Brootlings. Ugh, not what you want. Probably busy managing other problems at home, putting out a fire over there. This is obviously where all of the tech of our Zerg player is at, right? So the spawning pool is here, Ultra Cavern's here, Spire is here. He blinks forward, goes after the units. Ultralisk that time around did die very easily. He did sneak out a couple drones, though. It's just that, like... no, there's no way. Nah, there's no way he's gonna be able to kill this. I mean, if he can destroy all of the Protoss structures in time, that would be a chance. But obviously, Zest can always recall that army. And just like that, it is gonna be our Protoss player who obtains the victory in this Best-of-5 series. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Today, I also want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for directly supporting the channel. If you're also interested in some of the perks, check it out at patreon.com/LowkoTV. A link is down below in the description. Anyways, for now, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.